The Chicago Bears are currently deep into training camp, and if there's one thing that stands out, it's that yesterday marked the most physical practice day of camp so far. This was the day where you could really feel the intensity and the grit of professional football returning to Hollis Hall for the players, the sound of pads colliding, the thuds of tackles, and the sheer physicality on display was unmistakable. Many fans and analysts alike were talking about how this was the first true live tackling session of the camp, and that shift is critical. There's just something about that initial contact, that first moment where you're not just running routes or running plays at half speed, but you're really hitting and getting hit. It's the moment when football truly feels like football again. For all those former players out there, you know exactly what I mean when I say there's a different energy that comes with that. There's a different edge, a different urgency in how guys practice. That physical contact sharpens the senses and really sets the tone for the rest of the season. And for this Bears team, the fact that yesterday was such a physical day, with loud pops of pads and players flying into one another with intent, is a promising sign. This kind of intensity is exactly what the Bears need to build their identity as a team. Over the past few years, we've heard a lot about how important physicality is, especially on defense, but it's just as critical on offense. The league is filled with fast, aggressive defenders who aren't going to give you a second to breathe or feel comfortable. So the Bears' offense must learn to absorb that physicality, push back against it, and maintain their composure and execution. If they can't, they'll be at a serious disadvantage once the games start counting. Throughout the practice, there were moments of friendly fire, as teammates laid each other out and saw some hard hits that left players on their backs momentarily. Thankfully, there weren't any serious injuries reported from those collisions. But it's always a reminder that football is a brutal sport, where every inch is contested with passion and sometimes pain. This physical style of practice is exactly what you want. If you're trying to cultivate a team identity rooted in toughness, resilience, and competitiveness, you can't build that identity without being willing to get physical day in and day out. It's encouraging to hear reports that the Bears are embracing this mindset, because that bodes well for their outlook this season. Shifting over to some of the specifics on the offensive side of the ball, there were some bright spots worth highlighting. Many have been following the progress of quarterback Caleb Williams closely, given his status as a high-profile young player entering his second year in a new offensive scheme. Yesterday was reportedly one of Caleb's best days in training camp, and maybe even one of the better days of his practice career. This is huge news because we've seen flashes of brilliance from him, but also moments where things seem disjointed or inconsistent early in camp. But the buzz now is that he's really coming together in terms of his understanding of the offense and his execution. That growth is exactly what head coach Ben Johnson and the Bears coaching staff have been hoping for. Caleb is starting to display a better grasp of the playbook, reading defenses more effectively, and connecting with his receivers on deeper routes. The chemistry between Caleb and his receivers appears to be building well. Deep passes downfield to DJ Moore and others show promise. And there's talk of growing synergy between the quarterback and rookie wide receiver Cohen Loveland. Loveland, in particular, has been making an impression. He's shown an intriguing mix of speed, size, and route running ability that could make him a weapon as the season progresses. The Bears coaching staff seems optimistic about his potential and how he might carve out a significant role in this offense. This developing connection between Caleb Williams, Cohen Loveland, and Rome Odunze, another young receiver making strides, could be a foundation for the passing game moving forward, even as the offense continues to iron out its wrinkles. These relationships and the progress in understanding the scheme are positive signs. While the Bears' defense managed to get the upper hand in some of the late 2-minute drills during practice, the offense overall looks solid, particularly with Caleb continuing to improve in key areas. Coaches have been noting his work on the play-action game and his ability to keep his head moving to find open receivers. These details may seem small to casual observers, but for quarterbacks in the NFL, they're vital to success. The ability to sell play action and make quick, accurate decisions under pressure can dramatically elevate a team's offensive production. Caleb's progress on these fronts suggests that he's adapting well to Ben Johnson's scheme and philosophy. There are also some interesting developments on the offensive line front, especially at the left tackle position. Initially, there was speculation that the Bears might wait through the preseason to make a clear decision on who would start there. However, it now seems that the team might accelerate that timeline and come to a decision even before the first preseason game kicks off. Two young players, AZ Trapillo and Kieran Amagai, have been splitting reps at left tackle, and Trapillo, in particular, is drawing attention for his performance. Reports from the practice field suggest that Trapillo has been impressing coaches with his ability to go toe-to-toe against edge rushers, even winning most of his one-on-one battles against promising rookie defensive end Dio Odingbo. This is significant because holding the left tackle spot is one of the most critical roles on any offense, responsible for protecting the quarterback's blind side. Trapillo's progress is turning heads and positioning him as a strong contender for that starting job, which will be exciting to watch as training camp progresses. On the receiving end, another wideout named Luther Burton made his return to team drills after missing some practice time. Like many young players adjusting to new systems, Burton has experienced some growing pains, including pre-snap alignment issues that led to him being pulled out of a drill by Coach Ben Johnson. This is not unusual for players adapting to a new offense, especially one as complex as the Bears' scheme under Johnson, which demands precision and high football IQ. Burton's time missed during training camp means he's still ramping up, but it sounds like he has the work ethic and talent to overcome these early hurdles. The coaching staff remains patient, and if Burton can continue to improve and clean up these errors, he could become an important contributor down the line. Turning to the defense, two players stood out as bright spots in practice. Safety Tashim Johnson has been drawing positive attention for his physicality and versatility. As an undrafted free agent, Johnson entered camp with something to prove, and reports indicate he's been delivering solid performances. He's making big tackles both near the sidelines and in the middle of the field, firing up the defensive unit and showing that he can be a reliable presence in the secondary. Given the Bears' questions at safety, particularly with Yaquin Brisker's injury history, an uncertain contract situation, Johnson's emergence could be very important. If he can continue to develop and secure a role in the rotation, he might become a key piece of the defense's future. His ability to play multiple roles and contribute in various coverage schemes fits well with defensive coordinator Dennis Allen's preference for versatile players. Another defensive player to watch is linebacker Ruben Hippoly. Though Noah Sue may currently be the frontrunner for the starting strong side linebacker spot, Hippoly's speed and athleticism have not gone unnoticed. His ability to break up passes and make plays in coverage could open up additional opportunities for him, even if he was initially viewed more as a situational player for passing downs. The Bears value players who can fill multiple roles on defense, and if Hippoly can continue to grow his coverage skills alongside his pass rushing ability, he could become an essential part of the linebacker group as training camp continues. It will be fascinating to see how the competition at linebacker evolves. One player who has lived up to expectations so far is cornerback Kyler Gordon. Gordon is showing why the Bears locked him up with a contract extension. Under Dennis Allen's system, Gordon's versatility is a major asset. He's able to line up in various positions across the secondary, switching between outside corner, nickel corner, and safety roles as needed. This flexibility is not only valuable in today's NFL, where defensive schemes are constantly adapting, but also highlights Gordon's football intelligence and athleticism. His stats from last season speak for themselves: 75 tackles, 4 loss, multiple passes defensed, and a knack for making impactful plays on the ball. With Allen's defense, Gordon is poised to have an even bigger role and could be one of the Bears' most important defensive players moving forward. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Could one of the NFL's most electric quarterbacks be headed to the Windy City? Whispers are beginning to surface that Lamar Jackson, the 2019 NFL MVP and Baltimore's dynamic signal caller, might be catching the attention of the Chicago Bears front office. While nothing is confirmed, and as always in the NFL, smoke doesn't always mean fire, there's growing speculation that Chicago may be plotting a bold move to reshape its offense and energize a franchise still searching for long-term stability under center. Sources close to league circles have quietly suggested that Chicago's brass has had internal conversations about what a mobile, high-impact quarterback like Jackson could bring to an offense that has long been stuck in neutral. With the Bears continuing their search for consistency behind center, the idea of introducing a player with Jackson's unmatched escapability, arm talent, and big play potential has begun to gain some traction, at least behind closed doors. What's fueling the rumor mill? First, The Bears have invested heavily in revamping their offensive line and skill positions in recent seasons. The arrival of DJ Moore, the continued development of young receivers, and a beefed-up offensive front suggests the team is preparing for something, or someone, that demands an explosive, multi-dimensional system, while current quarterback options provide flashes of promise. None have offered the game-breaking unpredictability that a player like Jackson can bring. Additionally, league insiders have pointed to a quiet unease in Baltimore, where the Ravens continue to tweak their system to keep Jackson both protected and productive. While there's no indication of an immediate breakup between Jackson and the Ravens, it's not uncommon for even the most fruitful relationships to evolve or eventually end, especially in a league where cap space, contract structures, and long-term planning collide. Would Jackson even fit in Chicago's system? That's where things get intriguing. The Bears have spent recent off-seasons experimenting with more read-option looks, rollout passes, and designed quarterback runs, all hallmarks of what Jackson excels at. A playbook customized to his strengths could turn Soldier Field into a weekly spectacle and finally give Chicago the offensive identity it's been chasing for decades. Critics will point to the risks. Jackson has missed time due to injuries in recent seasons, and questions still linger about his long-term durability in an offense that leans on his legs as much as his arm. There's also the price, both in terms of draft capital and salary, that acquiring a franchise quarterback of his caliber would demand. Still, for a team that has often been defined by defense and struggled to find a true offensive star, the temptation to swing big may prove irresistible. What remains unclear is how far these internal discussions have gone, or if they've reached the ears of Jackson or the Ravens organization. But NFL history has shown that where there's smoke, there's often at least a few embers waiting to ignite. The league's landscape is always shifting, and the Bears have shown a willingness in recent years to take bigger swings in the player market. Some league analysts have even speculated that if Chicago fails to see major progress from their current quarterback group this season, the front office could be poised to make a dramatic move. Whether that would come through free agency, trade, or a blockbuster offer is anyone's guess. But the name that keeps surfacing in hushed tones is Lamar Jackson, a player capable of flipping a franchise's fortunes overnight. It's the kind of rumor that makes sense on paper, excites fans in theory, and causes rival teams to perk up their ears. And while many rumors fade into off-season smoke, others become reality when the right pieces and the right motivations fall into place. As training camp rolls on and preseason matchups begin, it'll be worth watching the Bears closely, not just for what they do on the field, but for what they might be quietly planning behind the scenes. After all, in a league where quarterback play is king and fortunes can shift in an instant, taking a chance on a player like Lamar Jackson might just be the kind of bold, headline-grabbing move that redefines an entire franchise. Could it happen? Time will tell. But for now, the buzz is real, and in Chicago, that alone is enough to send pulses racing. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.